I wanted to make a video today about the permaculture concept of stacking function, and in this case less about, oh, how do you plant out the plants that'll give you multiple yields and do multiple things, but day-to-day life stacking functions. And I'm focusing on my truck here because this morning my wife asked me to come into town to get some Parmesan and cheddar cheese for dinner later on, and we're about 2 miles from downtown, and so I took my truck. But with the idea is, instead of just going to get the cheese, it's like, well, let me get as many things done as I possibly can with this one trip, even though it's not many miles. So I have one place that I stop every time I drive through town, because it's not out of the way, where I can get glass bottles. They normally recycle these, and I can pick up 1 or 2. Sometimes the other day I got 6, and we use that to store food, which is wonderful. So that's one thing already on the way downtown. And then I figure, well, I'll give myself some extra time, and I'm going to load up with wood chips. And there's a municipal chip pile that's absolutely monstrous. I call it Mount Chips a lot. There's probably 20,000 cubic yards of chips here right now. So I'll give myself an extra half hour and load up chips. Our chickens right now are dealing with incredible cold. We won't get above 10 degrees for the next week, it seems. And so I'm going to get the hottest wood chips I can to mix with their grain and keep them warm and well fed. I already stopped by a place that roasts coffee to see if they have any burlap sacks. Unfortunately today they don't, but normally I'll pick up 10 or 20 burlap sacks if I can. And you'll notice I've got these containers in the back of the truck. I'll stop by the back of some grocery stores and see what sort of compost I can get to feed our chickens with waste food scraps. Also, I have to pick up some fixed window from a storm window, and so that's part of the trip too. But so the idea is, well, if I'm going to use the gas to get myself downtown to get some things for dinner, I'm going to give myself the extra time. And in the winter in particular, when it's going to be a high of 10 degrees or 9 degrees today, it's worth me putting in the extra effort and time to accumulate a truckload of nutrient, to pick up some resources, pick up food for our chickens, and make the most out of it. So just as a concept, the idea of stacking functions, I think, extends way beyond the idea of, you know, oh, an apple tree also casts shade and also produces mulch and blah, 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 but also your day-to-day living and how many things can get done, especially if you're going to be using fossil fuels. So that was just a note I wanted to share, and I thought I would do so. It's kind of crazy to think a trip out to the store for this would end up being this as well. Sasha will be happy I got the cheese, but a couple, maybe 2 cubic yards of hot wood chips and food for the week for the chickens, and I picked up the glass. Thank you, fossil fuels, for making it possible to do things, and I encourage folks to think, if you're going out for something, what are all the myriad things you can get while you're out? Where are the free piles of compost and wood chips, free food scraps for your animals or even you? Is there roadkill? Are there resources out there that you can be scooping up while you're driving? So anyway, that was the instigator of this whole situation.